You ever wonder if the worst day of your life could be the one that changes everything? Picture this, a greasy diner in Brooklyn, the kind with sticky tables and coffee that tastes like regret. That's where I met Sarah Miller, a 27-year-old waitress with dreams so big they didn't fit in her apron pockets. I'm not spinning some Hollywood fairy tale here. This is raw, real, messy, like a late-night chat over cheap whiskey. Sarah's life was a grind, serving eggs to jerks like Mr. Baxter, a loudmouth in a cheap suit who thought snapping his fingers made him king. But one Tuesday, in the middle of that chaos, a single sentence in a language she wasn't supposed to know flipped her world upside down. Sarah wasn't just a waitress, she was a ghost of who she used to be. 4 years ago, she was killing it at a fancy art school in Florence, dissecting Renaissance paintings, living a life that felt like a damn masterpiece. Then her mom got sick, the bills piled up, and her dad's little hardware store went under. Just like that, Florence was a memory, and Sarah was back in a cramped apartment in Queens, sharing rent with her best friend, Lena. The diner, Rusty's, was her purgatory, smelling of burnt toast and broken dreams, her polyester uniform clinging to her like shame. She was good at her job, invisible, efficient, pasting on a smile while guys like Baxter barked, "Make sure my burger's medium, hon, not some bloody mess, got it?" She'd nod, "Crystal, sir," but inside, she was screaming. Then came the moment that cracked her life open. An old Italian lady, Signora Rossi, shuffled into Rusty's, looking like she'd wandered into a war zone. Her English was shaky, her phone was dead, and she was rambling about missing her tour group at the Met. The new host, Joey, just blinked at her like she was speaking Martian. Baxter, smelling a chance to play hero, strutted over, butchering Italian like a drunk karaoke singer. "Buongiorno, signora, a table?" It was painful, his smug grin making it worse. Sarah, balancing a tray of coffee, couldn't take it. Something snapped, not just her patience, but that buried part of her that remembered strolling Florence's cobblestone streets, arguing about Michelangelo. She set her tray down, walked over, and in perfect, lyrical Italian, said, "Signora, mi scusi, this guy's got no clue. You're lost, right? Let me help." The diner went quiet. Baxter's jaw hit the floor, his date smirking behind her mimosa. Signora Rossi's face lit up, spilling her story: missed buses, wrong museums, pure panic. Sarah listened, nodded, soothed her with words that felt like home. She got Joey to seat the lady, grabbed her phone, and called the tour company, scribbling directions on a napkin. "You're all set, Signora. Safe travels," she said, waving off a crumpled $20 tip. Baxter, red-faced and fuming, muttered, "Get my water, sweetheart," but Sarah just glided away, leaving him deflated. In the corner booth, a guy in a plain gray sweater, James Whitaker, watched it all, his coffee untouched, his eyes sharp like he was solving a puzzle. He left a $50 bill for a $3 coffee and slipped out. No words, just a nod that felt like it meant something. That should have been eat a small win in a gray life. But when Sarah's shift ended, the cook, Big Mike, handed her a black envelope, sleek as sin, with a silver hawk seal. Corner booth guy came back, said, "This is for you." Mike grunted. Sarah's hands shook as she opened it in the alley, the city humming around her. Inside, a business card: James Whitaker, CEO, Whitaker Ventures, and a private jet ticket to Florence, leaving tomorrow. A note in sharp silver ink read, "Miss Miller, talent like yours doesn't belong pouring coffee for fools. A car comes at 10 a.m. This isn't a request, it's a shot. JW." Sarah's head spun. Whitaker Ventures. The guy was a billionaire, a tech genius who built drones and AI nobody could touch. This was insane, maybe a prank, maybe a trap. Lena, her roommate, flipped out when she saw it. "Sarah, this is how you end up in a true crime podcast. Rich dudes don't just send jets for waitresses unless they're creeps." But Sarah felt Ida pull, like Florence was calling her back, whispering, "You're not done yet." She barely slept, her mind wrestling fear against hope. By 10 a.m., she was in a silent black SUV, her beat-up suitcase in the trunk, Lena's tracking app pinging on her phone. At a private hangar, a Gulfstream jet gleamed like a promise. The flight was a dream: champagne, leather seats, Florence's lights sparkling below like scattered jewels. She landed at a private airstrip, whisked to a villa straight out of a painting, marble floors, ivy-covered walls, the works. There was James Whittaker, same quiet intensity, welcoming her like she wasn't just some diner girl. "Miss Miller, you're here because you're not what you seem," he said, his voice calm but heavy. "Tomorrow, you'll see why." Morning came, and Sarah, in a borrowed dress that felt like someone else's skin, sat across from James and his sister, Claire, a corporate shark in a Chanel suit. Claire's eyes screamed, "You don't belong here." The deal? Whittaker Ventures was chasing a $3 billion buyout of Casa Bellini, a 200-year-old Italian fashion house, and the owner, Signora Elena Bellini, wasn't budging. "She thinks we're soulless tech bros," James explained. "Our lawyers can't crack Hershey smells their corporate BS a mile away." "You, Sarah, you speak her language, not just Italian, but her world, her culture." Claire scoffed. "You served fries yesterday. This is a multi-billion-dollar deal, not an art class." Sarah's stomach twisted, but James's gaze held steady. "I saw you in that diner poised with that idiot Baxter, heart with that lost woman. That's what I need. Help me bridge this gap, and I'll give you a job, a salary to clear your family's debts, and a chance to finish your degree. Fail, and you're back to Rusty's." The next 2 days were brutal. Sarah drowned in files about Casa Bellini, learning Elena's obsession with Botticelli and her family's hand-stitched legacy. Claire grilled her, tossing terms like EBITDA to trip her up. Sarah didn't flinch. "I don't know finance," she admitted, "but I know Elena cries over her grandfather's sketchbooks. That's what you're missing." The meeting at Casa Bellini's Florence showroom felt like stepping into a cathedral. Velvet drapes, the scent of leather and history. Claire's slick PowerPoint about global synergies bombed hard. Elena, a fierce 80-year-old with eyes like a hawk, shut her down. "You speak of my house like it's a factory," she snapped. Sarah watched, silent, until she couldn't hold back. She stood, walked to a painting of a Renaissance woman Elena's ancestor in, said in Italian, "This is stunning, Signora. Botticelli's grace, but warmer, like family. Was she the one who started your legacy?" Elena's guard dropped, her voice softening as she shared the story of her great-grandmother, a seamstress for Medici nobles. Sarah leaned in. "James doesn't want to erase wants to share her story with the world, keep it alive." The room froze. Claire looked like she'd been slapped. Elena smiled, just a flicker, and said, "Come back tomorrow alone. Bring her." The next meeting was magic, no charts, just tea, stories of art, and Sarah translating James's tech dreams into Elena's language of legacy. By week's end, the deal was signed, Casa Bellini's heritage protected, Elena on the board. At James's villa, Sarah stood on a balcony, Florence glittering below, feeling like she'd finally come home. James offered her the job, big title, big money, but Sarah shook her head. "I don't want a handout," she said, heart pounding. "Let me lead the Bellini integration, give me a team, a budget. If I grow it while keeping its soul, I want a piece of its equity, not charity." James laughed, a real, warm laugh, and shook her hand. "You're a hell of a negotiator, Sarah Miller. Deal. This isn't just about luck, it's about what's buried in you, waiting for a spark." Sarah's kindness, her forgotten Italian, her guts to demand her worth, that's what turned a diner shift into a new life. So what's your hidden spark? That thing nobody sees, but you know it's there? Would you have opened that envelope, stepped on that jet? Drop a comment, tell me what you'd do, or share a time you took a crazy leap and it paid off or didn't. Hit that thumbs up if this hit you in the feels, and share it with someone who needs a nudge to chase their own shot. Thanks for listening.